Hello, and look what's back on the channel, my BMW M4cs. I should probably do more videos on this thing, so today I'm giving you my full, honest review. I've had this thing for 12 months now, and time has flown by. I'm Max Tavani, and welcome to Driven Plus. First question is, am I still enjoying it? Yes, this is hands down the best car I've ever owned. And I've owned a BMW M4i, M4 competition, and an M5 competition. It's safe to say I like BMWs. But let's crack on with the annoying things first, because there's a lot more good than bad. The first problem is the brakes. Now I'm not on about the ceramic brakes because they're mega. What I'm on about is the gap between the caliper and the alloy. If you get a little stone chip in between them, it sounds like your car is falling apart and it scores the alloy like so. It's so annoying and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's one annoying thing. And another annoying thing is the drive shaft seal. It's common on these cars to leak, so get it looked at. Many thanks by A1. Gaz there sorted me out. But just keep tabs on them. It's a high performance car, what do you expect? And the last problem is a nice problem to have. See, these cars are 50k-ish, and this given me a massive dilemma. I generally don't know what to upgrade to. I think this is the best car you can buy for this money. And of course, yeah, I'm going to be biased, but this gives you so much more of a driving experience than an M4 or competition. Going on to some talking points. Now, as you can see, this has got the GTS derived door cards and it's got no door pockets. So how to find them? Well, I actually quite like them. It makes you keep less rubbish in the car, so it's cleaner. Whereas if you have a girlfriend like me, she wants to put lipsticks and makeup wipes, wherever she can find, and every time she goes to put something in the door pockets and she forgets there's no door pockets, you kind of get this usual facial expression. Sorry, I'm a car enthusiast. The hi-fi system, yeah, you do not get the range topping Harman Kardon system, but no word of a lie, this system is just as good. I mean, for the last 12 months that I've owned this car, I haven't got it on and I thought, yeah, there's a massive difference between Harman Kardon and the hi-fi system, because there isn't. And another thing is the armrest. What's it like to live without an armrest? I've got to admit, I absolutely love an armrest, so I was a bit apprehensive about this to see how I'd actually get on, but I got to admit, when you're in your driving position like so, you kind of can rest your arm to an extent, but when you're driving, your arm needs to be there and doesn't need to be blocked by any armour. So it does make sense. I'm quite happy about that. And the last thing this gets, another talking point, is the single zone climate control. All my other cars have had dual zone, so every time I've had to change, 90% of the time, I'm driving this myself. So every time I change the left side, it's always on the same as the right side. So single zone for me makes perfect sense. It's so much better to use, and who loves a manual mod? It's so much easier to use. I much prefer that. So what have I done to the car? Well, not much. The M4cs comes almost perfect from factory. I think it should have come a little bit lower though, so I had to address that situation. I've put the carbon fibre kidney grills on. I think they look better because it just matches the carbon fibre splitter. It's been ceramic coated by APM Customs, especially with this colour. San Marino blue, it just makes it pop that extra bit more, so I'd definitely recommend that with those guys. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm happy with how it looks. That's everything so far. Let's get out on the road. Let's go. One thing which never fails to disappoint is that smell of Alcantara. Every time you get in, it's so fresh, it smells clean, and it just adds to the occasion. Whether you're going to the shops or wherever you're going, every time you get in this car, it's always a drive to remember. Now, still to this day, I am not lying now, since driving the M4cs, or since owning it, I've never seen any other M4cs on the road in the UK. Seen a couple at the Nürburgring, as you would anyway, But that's the good thing about them. They're so limited, you hardly see them. And even when I went shopping about 6 months ago, I was parked next to a couple of M3s. One of them was the G80, the other one was the M3 Touring, the G81. And a couple of lads were walking around them, and they were looking at, and then I clocked them looking, and they seen this, and they went straight to it, because they know how rare it is. It's an exclusive car. But I must say, this car never fails to make me smile. What a car this is. And the difference between this and the normal M4 competition, or M4, the normal one, is massive. It really is. It's the turning on this thing, the way this thing goes around a corner. It just gives you so much confidence, there's so much precision. And the steering, for me, it has to be driven in the comfort mode. Any other mode, Sport or Sport Plus, it's too heavy. But this really is the definition of a true raw M car. And it's not until you drive one you understand why BMW only gave this 10 horsepower more over the M4 competition. It just seems the perfect blend of everything. There's enough power, it's lighter, and it'll put a lot of higher power cars in its place. Isn't that right, Kev from APM with an RS6? Now, I am pretty certain all BMW CS models comes with the M drivers pack as standard, so that takes the top speed limiter of 155 to 174, and I wanted to check that out, but there's no other real place to do that other than the German Autobahn. So whilst we were there doing our Road to the Nürburgring trip in May, we had a nice straight road of Autobahn, and I got to 165. It didn't stop 165, I had to slow down because of traffic, but I can confirm it definitely doesn't have the 155 limiter, so I'm happy with that. The gearbox, gotta admit, I'm a big fan of DCT. The changes are very aggressive though, but if you're comparing it with a PDK box, say for instance, the PDK is much faster. There is a slight delay on the DCT. However, saying that, if you've got the gearbox in its most aggressive mode, number 3, and there's a little bit of, say, the roads are a little bit damp, it can break traction because they're so aggressive going to the next gear. So if you want to tame it down a bit, I think I flick between 2 and 3, but it's personal preference. Look, it gets noisy in here. There's no soundproof and they've removed all of it, obviously to save weight. But obviously there is a downfall of that, and that's the cabin noise, the tyre noise, all the noises that comes in through the cabin. And when you're cruising on the motorway, I will admit, it gets a bit annoying. But what you do get in favour is all the gears working together, and it gives you that race car feel. M3cs or M4cs? It's the ultimate question. Which one would I have? Well, if I had kids, the M3cs would be the perfect all-rounder. Although I would say the M3cs will hold its value more than the M4cs, because the M3cs is like the top dog of the F80 generation, the top one, whereas this kind of lived in the shadow of the M4 GTS, and I don't think this gets the credit it deserves, because it got the M4 GTS door cards, it got the LED rear lights. Of all these, the M3cs never got, and that's the big selling point for me. And the other big selling point for the M4cs over the M3cs, still to this day, this is the only ever M4cs they've built. So I'm going to wait on this for a little while to see what happens in the market. And there is a different soundtrack to the original M4s, I feel. And everyone says it's got a titanium exhaust. No, it's got a normal M4 system with titanium tips. But it does give a little bit of a different soundtrack. I think it's a little bit deeper. But I think stock form, it's not too bad. It does need an upgraded exhaust, I feel, because sometimes there's a little bit too quiet, but I have to be careful of which system I choose, because this engine does have a tendency to rasp, so I have to pick wisely with which exhaust I want to go for. I think the M Performance one, the full titanium one, I'm not a fan of how that sounds. I think the single mid-pipe, that's not a bad choice, but maybe one day we'll get around to it. But at the moment now, I'm happy. And you see all these other cars I've reviewed on the channel, McLarens, Porsches, R8s, you thought I'd be a bit depressed by now getting in this every time. No, it actually helps, and you actually understand what job a BMW did on this car. It's an absolute gem, and this is staying for as long as it can. Yeah, what a car they made. And there we are, that concludes my full, honest review of my M4cs. I'd like to thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.